Hey, what's up everybody? Rob Marzullo here, Ram Studio Comics. Hope you're doing great and got another video for you, and this one is going to be on how to draw the neck muscles and connect them to a head. So I got some static head poses here just sketched out for your benefit, and I'm using Sketchbook Pro, obviously, Sketchbook Pro 7 to be exact. And what I'm going to do is show you how I would take these sketched head poses and just draw stylized, comic book anatomy or whatever. I'm not going to be real exact. It's just going to be my interpretation. So, later on I'm going to get into some anatomy study courses and that kind of thing, but I'm not really ready for that. So this is just going to show you my stylized way of drawing it and what I would look out for if you're trying to draw this. Now, one of the things I do is always draw this big, I think it's called the Sternocleidomastoid or something. It always like comes from, the jaw line and kind of where the ear and the jaw is from this angle, and it comes down. You kind of get this Y shape in there. So I want to show you that. And then I always draw like the, Adam's apple or whatever that is. Like I said, this isn't going to be technical terms. This is just, about the only one I do know is the sternocleidomastoid. And then my knowledge ceases to exist at that point. No, I just don't know all the detail. There's a lot of muscles in there and a lot of little intricacies, and that's a whole other game. So we'll get to that later. But essentially, what I always see is this big shape like this, right? A Y shape in there, and these other muscles kind of come, they poke from around and they roll down and connect to the collarbone or clavicle or whatever. So, and if you're ever struggling drawing stuff like this, I recommend doing just what I did here. Draw, well, for instance, go for what you know first and then extrapolate from that. So, draw maybe this front head shot, which, if that's one of your easy ones, go for that. And then, start to design and problem solve around it. And then draw a side shot like we got over here. We'll get to that in a minute. And what it does, it allows you to paint, that mental picture, and then you can start trying to do more complex angles and, trying to picture what parts of the neck muscles are hidden from certain angles, because that's always the tricky part. That's always what kind of defines somebody that knows anatomy to somebody that doesn't, is when they know when to, hide certain areas and not always draw everything in. That's always, something that you struggle with, the whole right brain, left brain thing. So, okay, so that's how I would basically structure that. So now in the basic understanding of it, you just got these few neck muscles that come down. You can show a little bit of separation and shadowing. That always makes it look cool. You can also show, some, if they're straining, like some kind of Hulk pose or, screaming or whatever, you can draw the little veins that come up and they kind of go against the pattern this way, up into the neck. For him just sitting there relaxed, I don't think that'd be necessary. This is probably already, too defined for somebody just sitting there relaxed, but I'm trying to show the, comic book stylized effect of it. And, the trapezoids kind of poke around. They start from the back, they roll around this way, and then, you would connect to the shoulder like that. Chest muscle, but that's all a separate topic. This is just basically focused around the neck. So there's how I would draw that. Now, and just real quick, if I wanted to show a little bit of separation, draw the little neck shadow there. That always gives you a little bit more depth, and it's quick and easy to do. All about the quick and easy when it comes to drawing. Gotta take the shortcuts, man. Sorry. I know some people don't agree with me there, but you try working on a deadline and staying up all night, you'll want to start taking a few shortcuts so you can sleep. Because sleep is good. Okay, so here's the other head. Let's move that over. Booyah, like that. Okay, so now, I've got this to reference. I could just obviously, hold shift and draw some, reference lines over whatever. But I didn't bother lining up the other piece of art, so I'm not going to do that. We'll just draw it in. So what I would do is, never, one thing I'd recommend, try to never draw the neck like this and the chest like this or whatever. It actually doesn't look that bad. No, I just wouldn't do it. So Control Z back. Try to always draw as a, everything's a curve and a flowing line, and everything flows from one, especially with anatomy, it flows from one point to another. So let's start with this neck muscle here. We'll flow down and around. It starts off thicker, I think, up here, and then it gets thinned out as it connects to the collarbone area. The Adam's apple from this area would be somewhat hidden, I think, and then it would come down. That could be a little inaccurate. These areas here would kind of go like, I want to say they would look like they're pointing the other way from this angle. The trapezoid, trapezius, or whatever it is, back here would kind of come down over. It's a pretty large muscle, especially on somebody, you know, really buff like me that works out daily. Yeah, I do the 20-ounce curls. All right, anyways, so, something like that, the shoulder, the collarbone, and forgive me, like I said, this isn't entirely accurate. The question I think was more on like how would I draw it, so I'm being, true to that. This is how I would do it. I mean, I'm not really looking at any reference. I probably should be, that's probably why it's feeling like it's inaccurate. I think I got the neck like way too thick, which I do. So I'm going to thin that down. But, that's the beauty of the sketch. And that's why I really feel that sketching is just problem solving. It's not, you don't have to come to the right thing right away, Like, so what I would do is something like this, because I am starting to see you know, the thickness there is way off. And luckily it's separated from the head, isn't it? I think so. Oh, figures. I did it on the first layer. Whoops. But anyway, I'm going to kind of get in here and change this a bit. But again, that's the beauty of the sketch, is that you can work that out and problem solve. That's the whole purpose of it. So that you don't, carry something to a final piece of art and then notice the mistake. You should be doing all your rework in your sketch and having fun with it, and, experimentation. That's what it's all about. And then if worse comes to worse on something like this, start pulling from reference, because really that's what I should be doing. I should be looking at anatomy pictures, but um, so it's kind of a mix there, because what ends up happening if I study anatomy pictures while I'm drawing, then I end up wanting to do something that looks like a medical illustration versus a stylized comic book, drawing. So you got to know when to, like, separate that, because everybody, in my opinion, of course, is looking at this stuff for the style that you put into it. So you don't want to copy that stuff, verbatim or nothing like that. But like I said, it's hard for me, because if I start looking at it, it'll come out more of that type of structure and that design. Like I start getting into that too much, and it becomes a study versus me just having some fun and scribbling some stuff out. So again, I would show a little bit of separation of these muscles. Maybe that collarbone needs to be up higher. I'm going to show that that's in front of those muscles. And the other thing that's good to imagine when you're doing this stuff is that, well, one, that these pieces go behind and intersect. Everything flows in front of or behind each other. So to keep that in mind. The other thing is that, obviously nothing's straight. To always change up, varying thicknesses of the lines. Sorry to spit that out there. Nothing should just be one straight smooth line. It should all, like, as you come down to the back of the head here, this line should get thicker. Bottom of the chin here, line should get thicker. Little things like that give it more style. So that's basically how I would structure, the character's neck. This trapezoid is still bugging me. Let me see what's up there. What did I do wrong? So I probably would have to look at reference on that. I feel like I'm bringing it too far around this way or something. But you know, that's a, essentially that's how I would sketch something like that out. And then I would just keep adjusting it. This would be my initial first sketch, a rough sketch. Then I would just keep refining it, you know. Um, and then the other thing to keep in mind is that, the various poses. So if the head's pointing towards you and the body's further back, you have to draw this in a foreshortening method and again hide parts of it and elements of it. So at any rate, that's it. That's how I would draw the neck muscles connected to the head. So hopefully that's helped you out. If it has, be sure to like and subscribe, and please share the videos. It helps me progress the channel and keep bringing new content each week. I thank you for watching. Keep drawing, keep having fun, and we will talk to you soon.